Good evening. Yes, I'm shining bright today, wearing white. Is that always camera friendly on TV? Well, when the lighting is right, everything is speaking span. So welcome to Soni Irabor Live, and we have someone tonight who is a tireless crusader for human rights, but hers is actually exceptional because she does it in a very humane, very unique, and very dramatic way. She's here, there, and everywhere. She just came in from Accra, Ghana, in time for Soni Irabor Live, and I want to thank her for that. But her name is Dr. Jo Odumakin, and we say she's a Nigerian leading human rights advocate. She is the president of Women Arise for Change Initiative and the Center for Change. She's renowned for her relentless fight for justice for victims of violence and extrajudicial killings. And I said welcome, didn't I? Okay, welcome again to the program.
Thank you.
And by the way, welcome from Accra. How was the show there?
It was fine, and it's only Soni Irabor Live that can bring me back at this time.
I love that. Thank you so much. Your career started very early, university, 1985. And I've just been wondering, since that time you have not rested. What got you into it in the first place?
Well, starting off, I wanted to be a nun, married to Jesus. But my dad didn't like that idea. My parents were staunch Catholic. Okay. So my father said, since I wasn't going to procreate, that he would disown me. I told the Reverend Father and the sister, they said, it's my earthly father, I should not be bothered. So I got back home. When my dad returned from the UK, my dad then said that he was not only going to disown me, he would print my obituary. So I was just too young then. He said, when my friends see me and everybody will run away, they think I'm spirit or ghost. So I was too young. I cried all night, and later on, I decided that I was going to go back to school. So it took me for my A-levels at Kwara Poly School of Basic Studies. And then I got in there. I started living with the director of School of Basic Studies, Dr. Acho. So I lived with him. The wife was always asking me, where am I going to, different questions. So I had to tell my dad that I would not go back to the seminary, that he should return me to the hostel. So after that, I moved to the hostel. And then I still wanted to be a nun, but one day I saw Rethink Nigeria, a left-wing movement. And then I went for the meeting. I was in year 2, but I observed there was no opening or closing prayer. The guys there threatened to throw me out, that they were talking about serious issues. I was talking about putting prayers in the agenda. So after that, I was thrown out of the meeting. And then somebody saw me again and said, Reverend Sister, don't worry, we'll put prayers on the agenda. I went again for the meeting 3 weeks after the first incident. So at this time around, they were so violent with me when I raised the observation. So I forgot about that. Then I got admission to University of Ilorin. So getting to University of Ilorin, after 1 year, one lecturer discovered that somebody scored very high marks in his test. So called me, and I went to see the lecturer. The lecturer said, why are you called a Reverend Sister? I said, are you a stammerer? Be bold. So I told the lecturer. Then said, you scored very high marks in my test. I want you to start reading books. So one of the books that I read by Martin Luther King, which says, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. So that was how I got born again. Started reading books.
Born again in quotes now.
Born again, the struggle. And then I started reading books. 3 months after that, the position of secretary, women in Nigeria, was vacant. And manifesto nights, students would be gathered. So we were 3 contestants. The first person, when I came, I started quoting all the books I've read and telling them, the students, why I want to serve. So the third person didn't bother, and that was how I started in 1985. So one of the lawyers, I said, prepare my will for me, because anything that I'm committed to, I put in everything. So that was how the thing started. I had few books and a mattress, and I said, in case anything happens, will my books to University of Ilorin. and then my mattress and 2 pillows to the motherless baby's home. So that was how I started. I was during
So
military
you were already
dictatorship.
concluding that, I mean, the worst might happen.
Yes, because it was during military dictatorship, which was an aberration, and we knew that anything would have happened. And then I was following up with academic serving of universities as a student, and I knew how tough it was then. So I just felt, and I knew that anything could happen, and that was how my will was prepared. And since that time, I've never looked back. And we know the military dictatorship, I've been everywhere, pasting posters, distributing leaflets. At times, I get caught, I get beaten, I get slapped by soldiers, and the worst will have happened. But my own is that anytime I'm going to the toughest zone, I will ask all the guys to stay back, that in case I'm shot dead, they will know that this was the last place she was seen, so that all of us are not killed in the process. And since that time, because I believe...
And no time did you entertain fear of even, you know, even when somebody physically handles you, like slapping you. Some people would have done a U-turn.
There was no time I entertained fear. My fear a bit then was where I was off campus. All students that were rusticated, people who had problems, were in my flat. And when it's 1 a.m., we'll put on black. No, okay. We'll put on black. I'll dish out starch to give everyone. Then we'll go and start pasting posters. So if cultism was rampant, I would have been branded the leader of cultists. So that was my fear then, but there wasn't anything like that. The worst thing that would have happened was to be killed, be shot dead. And you know, I could recollect the time I was slapped by a soldier. And for 3 years, I was still feeling the pains. And I knew even after treatment, pus was still coming out from my ear.
Oh, wow.
So I've never entertained any fear of death.
But your ear is okay. You can hear from both sides.
I can hear. I can hear from both sides.
Because, I mean, that's a very physical thing, you know?
Yes. And even during the annulment, when more than 300 people were killed, I sustained gunshot wound on my leg. But I had no opportunity of going to treat it. It was treated locally for me because I was one of those declared wanted. So I still feel the pain, but at least I've gone through a series of x-ray.
But there's no bullet in your bone or anything in your flesh?
No.
Okay.
The only caution is that I'll be told, don't strain your legs. And my leg is my weapon. That's what I use in rallies and all the things I do. So there's no way that the leg will not be stressed.
You've been involved in so many different cases. Before we even come to Women Arise,
okay.
Over 2,000 cases. And then, let me just read this question. You know, violence, cases of violence and killings of women and men and children too. Would you now say your effort to draw attention to some of these killings, has there been any success story?
Yes, we have had some success story. Like you rightly observed, that was as far back as 3 years ago, handled over 2,000 cases. But now it's over 5,000 cases of violence against women, even violence against men. And then we've gone as far as setting up a human rights clinic, which is around Tony Street. Every Thursday, we take most of these cases on pro bono. We have lawyers, we have counselors, we have doctors that come there. So, but have there been success stories? I know that the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. If one has not made any impact, we will have been worse off. Yes, at times we have met brick wall. There are several cases that have been in court. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We've recorded about more than 10 cases. And even one that was still striking, one of those that beat the wife and used opener to open her forehead. And the lady said for 12 years, the husband has always been beating her. So the husband was arrested, he was taken to court, and for the first time, the wife said the husband apologized, begged. In fact, he mobilized his friends to court, but when he saw me, all his friends took to their heels because the man is stupendously rich. So we went to mobilize everyone, but as soon as they saw me, they all ran. And after that, the man went to the village. There was this reconciliation. I didn't study law, but I was in court that day, and the magistrate asked me, I've seen you're an activist. Are you telling me that this woman should go back to the husband's house? But because the woman herself had already said she has seen that the husband was remorseful, because she's had several stitches on her head, and they've been married for 12 years, and she said she's been beaten not less than 300 times. Whoa. And she has had her hair being pulled off and so many, and each time the husband will taunt her, but for the first time, he apologized. So the man became our ambassador. She's been rehabilitated.
Oh, so he now is an ambassador. That means
yes,
he helps to counsel people
against
violence.
Against violence. Wow. So at times when we have our rallies, it will come, and his own case is just one glaring example. But I just want to tell you that we also defend men. There are few, although the percentage, gender-based violence will have like 90%. We have men too who suffer from this, and we always tell men that if their wives are beating them, they should come up. I want to tell you that our clinic days, we have some men coming to report their wives, that their wives are beating them. And we've been able to reconcile some of them. And even, Soni Irabor, as your program is on now, if we still have some men listening and that their wives are beating them, they can come every Thursday, we counsel them. And at times, sad enough, we've had about 6 or 7 women kill their husbands, and it's still more. We've had instances of 2 women cutting their husband's private part and giving those ones to hold before eventually killing them. I'm sure it will have gotten to it will have gotten to an extent that it was not manageable. That was how I got to that. So we said silence is not good. We must learn to speak out. If we speak out, then we can intervene.
You have noticed that there's a recurring incidence of domestic violence, either way, you know. Let me ask this question before we go on break. Now, there was one celebrated one a few weeks ago that the lawyer wife to a lawyer husband, where the wife actually killed the husband over some serious issue regarding maybe infidelity and all that. Even at that level of intellectual capability, are you saying that Nigeria is so hard up? That who is counseling people?
Yes, gender-based violence is on the increase, but in Nigeria as a case study, we have mutual suspicion. Yes, you say at that level of
intellect.
Yes, yes, that we've intervened. A lawyer killed the husband because he suspected infidelity. I went for the case in Ibadan. Some people saw me there, said, look at her. She's there leading protests against a woman that killed the husband. Men have been killing their wives. So now that women are not killing, what's your business there? But I said, violence is gender blind. Justice is gender blind. And we ensure that at the end, the man got justice, although he died. So we've seen instances that these men will have either been slapped, be beaten, but because they are men, they will not want to speak out. And they will feel that, well, if they do, that they'll be stigmatized. I think that violence is on the increase. So when there's that intervention, we don't separate homes, but as much as possible, when there are irreconcilable differences, it's better the person stay apart. And when they are reconciled, they cannot come back, come together.
Okay. We're going on a short break now. And when we get back, we'll focus a bit more on Women Arise, where she's the president, and what the policy thrust is all about. We'll be right back.
Make your event a memorable one with captivating and well-organized event center at Lagos Television's prestigious Blue Roof with a capacity of more than 3,000 seats and a fully air-conditioned 750 seats combo hall capacity, suitable for annual general meetings, government functions, exhibitions, religious activities, wedding ceremonies, burials, musical show, and many more in a well-secure environment. Spacious car park, uninterrupted power supply, and impeccable facilities. Take advantage of all of these at affordable rates.
For inquiries, please call 0808-252-8742 or 0802-282-9898.
Lagos Television Event Center, a tasteful event center for your delight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2013 International Women of Courage Award recipients.
Welcome to the U.S. Department of State for the 7th annual celebration of the Secretary of State's International Women of Courage Awards.
During the past 20 years in Nigeria, Dr. Josephine Odumakin has handled more than 2,000 cases of government security agencies violating women's rights. These cases include everything from negligence to assault and killings. As the president of the Campaign for Democracy, she has personally led almost every protest, march, lecture, and workshop to encourage the rule of law and democracy in Nigeria. She has been arrested or detained 17 times, but she has never stopped crusading for the rights of the Nigerian people. For exceptional courage, strength, and leadership in tirelessly advocating for human rights, social justice, and women's equality and advancement in Nigeria, Dr. Josephine Odumakin is a woman of courage.
And as the popular saying goes,
The struggle continues.
Yes, the struggle continues indeed. 17 times.
Yeah.
And that was as at 2013.
13 years.
Wow. Okay. Now, Women Arise, what's the policy thrust?
Yes, Women Arise formed in 2003. Women speak the same language, that is silence. So it was formed to break the culture of silence. The policy trust will have training, advocacy. And in advocacy, we try to make interventions because we believe that prevention is better than cure. It's better for one to prevent. So we carry out a series of advocacies in terms of sensitizing the public about the ills of violence. We also help in letting people know that violence kills. There's one that is Nigerians Unite Against Terror, still a baby of Women Arise. So we carry out series of advocacy, sensitization. At times we do training. We train some of the women who want to become political leaders. When they contact us, we look at their manifesto, see how we can intervene, because that cliche that says women are each other's enemy does not exist. Instead of us bickering, let's help these women to work out their manifesto. Again, we also believe that women are endangered species. And that
Even though they are more.
yeah, even
they are higher in number, right?
yes,
In population.
Yes. And then we see that women can always use their numerical strength to assert, themselves. If we have them in elections, we'll carry out a series of voter education, sensitization. Like last week, the INEC chairman was at Women Arise, and we're talking about synergy. What can we do? Look at this recent one, vote buying. That one will destroy our democracy. So we'll help to build women for them to know that their voice is their power, their permanent voters card is their power, and they must effectively use it.
Okay. Now, Joe Odumakin, 17 times detained. She keeps going on. And with all the threats to life, and what you see, the violence in front of you, there's a dying determination to, you get even worse. You tend to want to, okay, the deeper the violence attempt, the more determined you are. Isn't there a streak of fear in you, or maybe discouragement or something?
Well, there's no fear, there's no phobia, because I believe that where determination exists, failure can never dismantle the flag of success. And I also believe, like Abba Pike says, that what we do for ourselves dies with us, but what we do for the others and the world remains. Like Amilcar Cabral says that he's not interested in what people have in their heads, but how you translate positively in the lives of our people. And Francois Fanon says that every onlooker is either a coward or a traitor. So I believe that I have that inner conviction, and I believe that no matter what one does, one should always be focused, one should be determined, and one should have that vision and that passion. I want to see a Nigeria that works. I want to see a Nigeria that whenever I leave this country, that I'll be proud of that passport. Yes, there have been series of hazards. I've been detained several times. I've had cause not to bathe for 13 months, not to bathe for 6 months. I recollect one of the detentions that I went to in Alabon. And after the detention, Chief Gani Fayemi sent his vehicle to pick me. And he was teasing me. He said, Joe, you believe that there was no way I could get the bed bugs out of the car because it wasn't, they tried to wash and wash, when one is detained, they want to break the person's spirit. But my spirit can never, ever be broken. I've had instances when I want to be tried, my blood will be taken to see if I'm on cocaine. But no, the thing that gets me high is that inner conviction, that inner feeling that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So there are hazards. There are times that this type of table, I've been chained under this table for about 2-3 months. I started having serious backache. I've had ulcer. In those days, my mom would say, fast. Joe, fast for 2 days, fast for 3 days. I will not. But when I'm detained, I can fast for 14-15 days. The fear is that where I will go and use the restroom. When one is detained, no slippers, no brush, nothing. So I will not want to eat. And I will also have the fear of what will be brought for me, what I will eat, and what will be used in eliminating me. So I still believe, and up to this moment, I firmly believe, and I have that determination that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So all the detention, all the tribulations, I think it's just part of it.
Leah.
Yes.
Leah Shabiru, is that her name? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The Dapchi girl. As you were talking, I was looking at it. Maybe I do not know what the condition is like there, but the fact is that she's being held against her wish.
Yes.
What's your comment on that?
It's very sad that up to this moment that Leah Shaibu is still
that's right,
with the terrorists. The same mechanism, the same way the federal government used in negotiating the release of the rest girls should be used to get Leah back to us. I still recollect June 4 when we were at Kudira Cenotaph. Professor Wole Soyinka led the lane of writ about 5 weeks ago. And Soyinka said, Leah that is still kept away from us, that one day in captivity is like 1,000 days, and that we're not going to give up Leah. And so I still firmly believe that the federal government must not negotiate Leah away. They must make use of all the mechanism that was used in bringing the other girls back. Because Leah represents our today, our tomorrow, our future. And no way that we will leave Leah still languishing in captivity. I still recollect when some of the Chibok guests came, I had the opportunity of meeting 3 of them. And one of them said that by the time she will count, maybe 16 people will have slept with her, and then she will pass out. So keeping her for one day is like 1,000 days. I just want to plead that Nigeria must not fail here. Nigeria must not fail all our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, our brothers still in captivity. The Chibok and the Dapchi girls. Leah represents all of them. And the federal government must do all it can, must demonstrate enough political will in bringing Leah back to us.
On that very pleading note, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And the lines are open. If you want to call us, please do so as soon as you can, and we'll take your calls. And Dr. Joe Odumakin will field your questions. Yes. 4th of July was your birthday. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
And you seem to, I noticed that how many years now in the past few years you've concentrated on celebrating your birthdays in schools, secondary schools.
Ago.
Yes. Why is this?
Well, about 4 years ago, while I was driving home, I saw an ice cream seller harassing one young girl. And I went there. It happened that her 50 naira got missing. And then I had to pay, and I asked the girl the name of her school. So she told me. It was around 5 p.m. I just thought about it, that instead of having lectures and some other things, let me start going to secondary schools to mark my birthday. So it started about 4 years ago, and I picked public schools because I think that a lot of people don't really believe in public school. I'm a product of public school, and as much as possible, we should encourage those in public school. So that was how I started. I'll make a certain uniform, and I'll be dropped off at the bus stop. I'll take a bus with my school bag, and then I will join the students going to school. So I will run in, with them, and then I'll be on the assembly ground. Again, we've seen that the United Nations declared every June 26th as the Anti-Drugs Day. Okay. And we've seen that some of these students, the young ones, are engaged in drugs. It's not only codeine, but I've had instances to let some of these people even know. Even methylated spirits, some of these secondary school students, they take it, they sniff it, and they get high. Of recent, a boy came, met me, and confessed that what he does every day before going to school is to go to the neighbor's compound, sniff the sock away, the broken sock away, and he gets high. So each time I mark my birthday, I'm there with them. I tell them that they should have that confidence, and that public school is one of the best. I will be with them in class, will answer questions, I'll sweep the class, go with them, attend their Greek lessons, eat with them, let them ask me questions. In fact, one of the first 2 schools that I marked my birthday, some of those students even found it difficult to know. They even thought I was one of them. They were calling me Joe, and by the time I was leaving, the head boy said, please tell me you are not the one on this exercise book. Because I was with Professor Wole Soyinka and the wife of the former president of the U.S., Obama.
Yes.
And
Michelle
Obama. And, you know, so the first time I was 12 years, 13, 14, 15. So this last year, I marked my 16th birthday. And even one of the students met me
When you
and
say
said,
16th birthday, what do you mean?
you know, I started secondary school. So,
So
that
you
I'm
dressed
not
like
too,
a 16-year-old,
yes,
okay,
like
okay.
a 16-year-old. And even one of the students came and was telling me that I'm 2 weeks older than you. I turned 16, you know.
Okay, here we have a
So-
call. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
My name is Evangelist Adetunji from Alagbado.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
I also appreciate just this woman, Mrs. Odumakin. And I really appreciate what you have been doing in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Concerning the how we fight for people's rights in Nigeria.
Thank you.
And I also pray for her that may God also fight for her in Nigeria in this kind of God in Jesus' name.
Amen.
And I really appreciate because I think in Nigeria the women can learn better from her. For them to any area they find themselves, they can make a fight for Nigeria. That's what in Nigeria they can do. And I know this should try our best in the area of fighting for people's rights in Nigeria.
Okay.
That's my own point. I know God will feel
Thank
as
you.
a star in Nigeria is like a stand of God.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, well, that's a nice one. Amen to the prayers.
Amen. Thank you so much. And then what is just saying that so that people can be inspired. And wherever we find ourselves, your own field, you are a broadcaster, very seasoned one. So wherever we find ourselves, we should always make our impact felt. And let's don't allow anyone to use us as spare tire or as cheerleaders. You keep cheering politicians. No, let's try and bring issues on the front burner. So wherever we find ourselves, we will always excel and believe. Let's be positive, and we always know that we can affect lives positively.
Okay. Now, the carnage that is going on in the country. Well, the federal government tries in its own way to try and draw attention to it, appeal for peace and calm. Okay. Right. How are you? Good evening. What's your name?
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Florence.
Florence. Where are you calling from?
My name is Florence. I'm calling from Yanosash.
Okay. Move away from your television so that we can hear your voice clearly. Go ahead.
I want to appreciate my sister. Hello?
Yes.
Thank you, Star Florence.
Yes, I want to thank my sister. She has been so wonderful.
Thank you.
If every woman can do the way she has been doing, it will have been better off because she has done a lot of things for women. At times I look at her, I say, this woman, God, I pray that God Almighty will continue to guide and protect all her family too. She has been so wonderful. I have been challenged with the way she behaved to women and other men too. I just want to appreciate her and thank God for her life. And I pray even me that I'm talking, that I'll be able to behave the way she's doing. Because she has helped a lot.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I thank God for her life, and God Almighty will continue to see her through.
Amen.
She will never labor in vain.
Amen.
Whatever he has, whatever thing that is planned, God Almighty will make it up to her.
Amen.
In every area of her life, in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Florence, for your kind words. It serves as a soothing balm.
Indeed,
Thank you.
it does. Killings, sporadic killings, very worrisome, very unheard of. We don't know who it is. We don't know where it's coming from, but it just keeps springing surprises. What is your thought on this?
It's worrisome, and each time I see women, children, life has become shortish, hellish, and brutish. Life is being spilled day in, day out.
Okay. Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll take this call. How are you? Good evening.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Your name and place of call?
Yeah, I am young by name. I'm calling from Mowe.
Mowe. Go ahead.
Yeah. Please, sir. Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
Good evening.
Yeah, Young by name.
Young.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Young.
Young.
Yeah, please, like this family violence.
Domestic violence.
How some people are having problems in managing it, and I want to know like some points that could cause this kind of family violence.
Okay. I'll advise that you listen to her answer when you drop, okay? All right?
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. You can answer this
Yes.
question, then we'll follow up on what we're
Yes,
talking about before.
thank you, Young, for that question. We have a series of violence. We have psychological, we have physical, we have economic. But the psychological I want to mention is that we have some people, their tongue is like weapon of mass destruction. They will use their tongue to tear the person down. They will say the person is useless. Say a lot of things that the person might even end up committing suicide. And it starts with someone yelling at one. If somebody beats, while you are cutting someone, courtship, even before marriage, someone slaps you and says, sorry, I will not do that again. Next time, he hits you again. Next time, the person holds a knife and says, oh, no, I'm only joking. So you will have seen some aggressive signs. We've seen a woman having 26 stitches on her face because the Titus fish the husband always buy every day, she cut the tail, and the tail was small. So the husband used a knife to design her face, 26 stitches. That case is still in court because the husband is a organizer, is not sober. So we see that some of our women, we tell them that poverty, not only, violence is even classless. We've seen the case of a banker whose husband was suspicious of her move. And then it was his birthday. The wife bought cake, and the moment he said, happy birthday, honey, he used the knife, stabbed her 76 times, brought out her intestine and cut everything into pieces. He was sentenced to death. He still appealed. So you see that there are some signs that one will have seen. Again, I just want our people, maybe in the church, in the mosque, to use our pulpit to always preach peace.
Yes.
We've seen an intervention. Rosalind Shoge, a mother of 5, about a year before she wanted to move out, her place of worship intervened that, no, you have to go back. She went back to her family. 3 days after that, the husband used knife and slit the throat.
Oh my God.
So we should always, violence is on the increase. It kills.
Hello, ma.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
My name is Salaki Bello.
Yes.
From Ogijo.
Okay. Go ahead.
The woman, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
Soni Irabor, I want to correct you. This is a very good program. I'm living at Ogijo side. The boundary between Lagos State and Ogijo. So Ogijo is within the state of Ogun State.
Okay.
So within one of my neighbors here, he has 2 twins.
Two what?
Twins.
Two?
First twin and that twin again. You understand?
Say that again.
He beat all these twins every time. A serious mark for the twins. So the man ran away. But I know in Lagos State, you have some sort of program, but in Lagos State, you don't have it. How can we get in touch with madam?
Okay. Yes, she will say it while in the course of this program. She will give your address and her phone number and email address as well. Okay?
Please. Because
Okay.
we have parents, it's almost been, the one has gone away. The two kids, they are in finance. I think make them to a coma.
Okay, beat them.
Yeah. Domestic violence again.
Domestic violence.
Thank you very much. We'll take note of that, okay? Right.
Yes.
Wow, the questions are coming in, and your attempt to try to take a flow is being compromised, but bear with us. That's the problem of a live show. So
like what
what's the comment
she's
to
saying,
just say?
that violence is on the increase.
Yes.
We see parents, we see guidance, beat up. I mean, there's a case of somebody beating up the son, and a padlock, use this thing to padlock the boy's lips. Almost nobody has a right to beat anybody. So I want to say that for those, I've gone to intervene somewhere around Arepo where a girl was chained with her legs like this, and a big rat was eating her underneath. And as soon as we went, the person pleaded and said, you are my role model. But I want to say that we'll have some lines that can be reached, which, with your permission,
Yes,
I can
go
give
ahead,
them
please.
the line.
I beg you. And
We'll
I
have,
hope they can place it on the screen.
yes, we'll
Yeah.
have 070-566-22220. That's
Say that again, please.
070-566, 2 in 4 places, 2220.
Okay.
So, and then we'll have another one, 080-340-90-205. But please try as much as possible not to be flashing. If probably a text message, and then every Thursday we'll have our clinic days. It's our 7B, our office, 7B Olufumlayo Okikiolu, off Toyin Street, Ikeja. It's from 10 to 2 o'clock. So
10 in the morning.
10 in the morning to 2.
The afternoon.
So
okay.
we have lawyers. We take cases on pro bono. If we have violence, all sort of cases, when we bring them, we try and intervene. And we also go to court when there are glaring, irreconcilable differences. But we just want to beg parents guidance. Let them know vet their anger, frustration. A particular man said the son stole 200 naira. And beat hell out of the boy, put marks all over, everywhere. So you have frustration, poverty, and let people just realize that no one has a right to take laws to his or her hands. If you are somebody, if you are a father and you manhandle your word, such a person can never go scot-free. And please, and let's be each other's keepers, neighbors. If we hear noise, if we hear things that we suspect has to do with violence, let's report. It might be another person's child today. No one knows whose turn it will be tomorrow. And let us also realize that silence is not golden. We must always learn to speak out. And the carnage, the carnage that is going on around the country, one has asked, is it spiritual? Is it based on ethnicity? Is it
religious?
Or is it religious? I just want to say emphatically that it's evil. Those that are perpetuating the heinous acts does not have anything to do with either tribe or race. Those are enemy of progress and is a crime against humanity. We see children, we see women, that a large chunk of them are involved in this terrorism that is going on. And we just want to beg parents, let us always try and inculcate the right values. We see our young ones. Those days our parents will always take care of their young ones. They see them, they keep bad companies, but they don't speak out. Let parents sit up and live up to expectation. The school environment, religious environment, let us try and do that. And for those spilling people's blood, let them realize that we all have the same blood that flow in our veins. Enough of the colossal waste of lives and resources. And government must please be more responsive and responsible in terms of protecting lives. It's enshrined in our constitution. And we must do all we can to protect lives.
And we will never stop talking about this problem, because your right is my right, is Nigeria's patriotic growth and sovereign right. So, as we conclude this program, we want to thank Dr. Joe Odumakin for your selflessness and your tireless moves to try and draw attention to the wrongs, the ills of our society. And we now, limited way, we use Soni Irabor Live and our medium and LTV and other places to try also to drive home the points. So thank you for the audience that you have been. Thank you, Dr. Joe Odumakin again. And this is Soni Irabor saying, we are part of your life. Good night now.